What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Well, JJ Wang, we each got one Super Bowl pick, right? Not too shabby.
Yeah, well, I didn't get any
Not
right.
from the initial one, but last week.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a good Super Bowl. Like I've heard everyone say, it's gonna be one of those Super Bowls where you're not rooting against somebody.
That's because Tom Brady's not there.
Yeah, or Patrick Mahomes. Like I root for Patrick Mahomes if he's ever in a Super Bowl, but like everybody feels confident about Joe Burrow. Everybody likes Matt Stafford. Everybody likes the story of the Bengals. The Rams. Everybody's enjoying the way the Rams have gotten there with trading all their draft picks. And just going with veteran talent. So yeah, there's not really a team to root against. So you can just kind of sit back and kind of enjoy. Just enjoy the game and just root for everybody on the field. To root
It's
for
like
a good
being
game.
a kid again. It's gonna be like our teenage years. We're rooting for a team because we didn't understand as much at that point, and then it's all the music we listened to as teenagers during the halftime show. So we're gonna we're gonna enjoy a little Dre and Snoop Dogg halfway through, and it'll be like being 17 all over again.
Nothing better than listening to it edited halftime show. I mean, it's great.
It's gonna be silent, right? It'll be like silent and they're just moving.
I mean, yes. Don't get me wrong. I like Dre, I like Eminem, I like Snoop Dogg, but all their best work is not edited. So let's throw forth an edited halftime show. It's cool. Whatever.
It'll be interesting. I've tried to find for my kids to hear what it was, and their edited stuff. It's hilarious. Some of it they do have reworded. Other they just go silent for a second. So
yeah, it'd be like 4 straight words, and you can completely lose the story like that. Now, what just happened?
But yeah, I do have to say though, my bragging point for the week is I am pretty close to a NFL expert, if I do say so myself. If you go to the summer show, I called Rams versus Ravens. So it can't get much closer than that. I had the right division, wrong team versus the Rams. So I'm an expert. I'm gonna hang up my boots after this.
Expert Super Bowl picks. Yep.
Good job. I chose the stack team.
Yeah, it's hard to do that. So congratulations. Hey, we'll take that as a victory. We'll mark one up to the show.
That's what I'm hoping. And got a soft spot for Matt Stafford. Like I care less about many of the other Rams as far as winning a Super Bowl because they are kind of like the Yankees of football, and they're kind of like my one dynasty team where I have no draft picks, but I just got a lot of good players. But I'm rooting for Matt Stafford just because he was stuck in Detroit for so long. He's earned it.
I mean, I feel like anybody that's played in the NFL has earned it. So I mean, like I said, I like Sean McVay. I'm a huge Sean McVay fan. I think he's done a great job since he's been. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Sean McVay. I really don't have much on the Bengals side to root for. But I'd like to see Sean McVay win one and just have a good game. Like I said, I wouldn't be upset if Burrow wins. My only issue with Burrow winning is the Burrow hype will get even more out of control than it already. Don't get me wrong, I like Burrow, but over the past week, he literally went from, hey, I'm a good young quarterback to, hey, I'm the best quarterback in the NFL because I got so much swag because I wear cool outfits and say cool things after game interviews. But
yeah, I'm ahead on that train. He's a stellar player, but I just don't like Joe Burrow. I don't. I have no vested rooting interest for him. Jamar Chase on some of my teams, and I like T. Higgins. And I like Joe Mixon, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the podcast. We're probably get canceled for that. But
hey, you like who you like, man.
I like him as a player, but I don't know why Joe Burrow has always been that guy that there's just people or players that you're like, oh, I just don't like you. And that's Joe Burrow for me for some reason.
So do you? I mean, I feel like I don't want to say Burrow doesn't have like.
I just want to punch him.
Like kind of like the Sam Darnold effect, where he never, but he's won. He wins all the time.
No, it's not Sam Darnold.
Everywhere he goes, he wins. But like I said, he didn't have the pedigree in college. Just come out of nowhere. But
yeah, it's not the Sam Darnold effect. I thought Sam Darnold was overrated. Joe Burrow, he has that, that guy that you just see and you're kind of like, I don't like you, and you just feel like a terrible person for just not liking them because there's no reason.
Because he's good. You're like,
No, it's not
you
because
don't
he's
like it.
good. It's just I don't
Yeah,
know.
I get it.
He's got that face you want to punch.
There's half the NFL is full of people, that I feel like that towards I feel like that about a bunch of people. I go on for days, so in the NFL talking about how people I feel like that, but
So we're gonna change the name of this podcast from the Fantasy Couriers to "We just don't like people and we're terrible humans." But
just
anyway, if
don't
you want
like
to hit up
people.
if you want to hit up us terrible humans, you can hit us up on Twitter at Couriers Fantasy, email the fanscouriers at gmail.com, Facebook, same name, Instagram, same name. We're on YouTube if you're watching our handsome faces, or the website, thefanscouriers.wixsite.com/website. Hit us up if there's things you want us to talk about. We're gonna pretty much this weekend is going to be sort of us closing out the 2022 season. Next week we're going, or the 2021 season rather. Next week we're going to jump into the 2022 season with a way too early mock draft to celebrate the Super Bowl, because we will record this probably prior to the Super Bowl next week, and then the week after that we'll celebrate the
Yeah,
Super
but
Bowl.
definitely has to be prior to the Super Bowl because
Oh yeah.
I can't stay up late and record after the Super Bowl.
I doubt you'll make it past the coin toss. We'll see what happens.
I can usually make it to about halftime. That's just usually when I call it quits.
Old man. But let's jump into our last part of 2021. This episode, we're going to call It's Complicated. So these are guys that we have varied relationships with. We were just talking and we're like, let's just find guys to throw out that maybe we have talked about some, maybe not. Maybe a couple of my guys are guys that have burnt me, or guys I've never had for some odd reason, or guys just we have complicated personal relationships with these guys who, we all know personally, but there are fantasy complicated.
I got insider
Oh, with your
knowledge.
quarterback, you got an
I've
insider in the
met these
family.
guys. I got reasons not to like them.
So we'll go through. We got a couple from each position. I got a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and a flex guy to wrap it all up. But I'm going to start here with a quarterback who I loved in college. I rooted for because he was at North Carolina State when my brother was there, then transferred to Wisconsin. I was always rooted for him. But for
your brother went to North Carolina State?
For his doctorate, yeah. So he got his doctorate. He's going to be happy we talked about him again.
Oh, your brother's a doctor now?
He's a doctor. Oh wow, yeah,
really?
He is Dr. Dove. Yes, he is.
What's he? What I mean, he's
a doctor of education. Everybody, my brother is a doctor of education. He's a smart one in the family. So
hey, congratulations! I had no idea. Congratulations, doctor. All right.
Yeah, you've probably been seeing him for a while, have you? I guess.
Cool. I had no idea he was a doctor. I know a doctor. I feel cool now. Like, all right.
But yeah, he was there. We were down there and rooting for him, so I kept up with him. But Russell Wilson was a great fantasy player that was just never on my radar. Maybe I just didn't want to win those couple years when he was like essentially quarterback one. And I mean, but he's been a solid performer throughout the years. Or I think wasn't there a string of years where he didn't finish? Has he ever, maybe this year, has he ever finished outside the top 12 or top 10 or something?
It was like outside of top 10 or yeah, you're right. It was like first. It's like his first 10 years or something crazy. I mean, he's always been. I wasn't a huge fan. I've never been a huge fan of Russell Wilson either. He's always put up greats. He's always been a top option, but I've never really invested in the guy. So
maybe I was right this year finally, because he only had 3,100 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. And I mean, in a quarter, I mean, that's good. I don't even know where he ranked off the top of my head, but he just falls this probably thought about every quarterback you could have. But it's just been a complicated relationship. I've never had him, but he's always kicked my butt. But I don't dislike him. I think I'll ever have him.
No, I don't think I'll ever have him either. I had him in a redraft league this year, and he let me down. So the first time I have him and he lets me down, that's probably going to mean the last time I have him. So I probably won't draft Russell Wilson next year in anything. But like I said, I don't dislike the guy. I need him to play good with the amount of investments I have in DK Metcalf, and that's not really working out for me.
Well, that raises my real question for Russell. Like, if I have a quarterback too, he just gets drafted too early for me because he's a QB2 in my book. But where do you think, like, and this will probably be an episode that will hit February, but just really early, is he in Seattle next year?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't see how you can let him go. But I mean, if he's not happy, it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. If they're not happy, is it really worth going through the headache and the nonsense? I mean, they're going to
He's
win
not a prima
anyway.
donna.
Yeah, I think that's just a tough one. I'm not really sure. I'll say he goes somewhere else. I think Russell Wilson goes somewhere else.
Let's
Seattle
go Steelers.
kind of starts. Might go to Steelers. Steelers would be a good place for him. They could. So you could jump right into the Steelers and be an automatic contender because that team is
Right
like
there.
that team has got the setup for it. So
Who's your guy?
Speaking of quarterbacks that you're not sure where they're going to be next year, this guy, I don't know if I ever really had a relationship with this guy, but it's complicated if you do have it because you don't know what to do with him because of course that's Jalen Hurts, of course the quarterback of the Eagles. You know, he's a great rushing quarterback. He had 785 rushing yards. That led the league only because Lamar Jackson got hurt. And he had 10 rushing touchdowns. So that's insane. Any quarterback with those kind of rushing stats, is going to be a top 12. Then he had 3,100 receiving passing yards and 16 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's solid. But if you watch him play, you can it's not the greatest. But like I said, we don't play the game. We play fantasy, and he's great for fantasy. So if he's playing, you're going to start him. But you don't know if he's going to play, or are they going to bring in somebody else? So are you going to hold on to him, hoping that he plays, or are you going to try to trade him and get as much for him as you can while there's still an option that he plays?
That's where I'm setting. I have Hurts in the new dynasty we started this year, and early in the season, I'm like, man, I'm starting to sweat bullets a little bit. He's playing great, and I'm like, do I need to move him because he's not looking great NFL wise. But then again, I think I'm sitting there, I was like, wow, his numbers are very Lamar like, and Lamar's about ready to break the bank. Is Philly gonna build around him? Are they not like? And I agree with you 100% on the complicated portion. If he plays, man, he does break your heart a couple weeks, but his legs are enough to keep him, and that's why he was what, top 5, top 6, top. He's probably drafted top 6 next year because of his legs, easily.
Yeah, I mean, if he's starting, I don't see how he can't be. I mean, if you're going into the draft season and they're like Jalen Hurts, where they don't draft a quarterback, or maybe they bring in like an older veteran. I mean, it's obvious Jalen Hurts is going to be their guy. I mean, sometimes and the NFL's hard. Sometimes it takes guys a few years to learn how to play. I mean, I don't want to say, Josh Allen was terrible his first year, better his second year, and then completely insane his third. And of course, we're seeing it where it's turned into. So, I mean, I'd give him probably one more year to see where it goes. I mean, team's not great. I don't think they got Super Bowl aspirations. So let's see where it goes, and it might turn into something special.
Yeah. Okay, but who's your running back? I like your running back, and I hate your running back, and I like your running back.
This guy, I mean, been a fan of this guy since he's come out of college. I mean, I feel like a bunch of people have been just waiting for that breakout. There's always like a glimmer of hope here, a glimmer of hope there, and boom, ACL tear. Boom, another ACL tear. Boom, another ACL tear. I mean, how many knees is this guy got? It's going to tear an ACL, but that's Rashad Penny. So this comes down to how much you believe in the last 6 weeks of the season, last 5 weeks. I mean, so listen to his last 5 weeks. He had 137, then he had a 39-yarder, 135, 170, and then 190 with 6 touchdowns over the last 5 games. That's insane. That's a full workload. If I was Seattle, I'd probably get rid of Carson. They said they might sign him, but they can drop him for and save $2 million. So I don't know why you shouldn't. And bring back Penny and just you invested a first round draft pick in him. So I would hate for you to throw that away once there's been that that door that's opened and he's actually broken through. Why not give him another year? He's already 26. Another year is not going to hurt. It'll be 27, and at that point his career is going to be almost over anyway. You've held on to him this long. It'd be a shame to let him go now.
I don't think he's going to be there, though. I think it's money. I think Seattle's going to retool their running backs because Penny is long in the tooth, but short in the wear and tear. So he could have a Fred Jackson like late career kind of
Gosh,
play.
Fred Jackson.
I
Oh,
love Fred, and Fred Jackson was older than this, but I think he earned those last couple of games. They got him some money he didn't deserve. I mean, he earned it in college, but not in the NFL. And somebody's going to pay too much money, and either they're going to get 3 really good years out of a fresh-legged running back, or he's going to tear his ACL on his fifth leg. And it's going to be risky. As you were talking, I was looking at different spots people are predicting, like some of the spots they're talking about the standards, Atlanta, Miami. Some people even they're in the Ravens, but I mean, anybody will take a running back that looks like he can run. It depends what they're willing to
I just
pay.
can't see anybody breaking the bank for this guy, given his injury history.
Miami.
I mean, you pay.
My
I mean,
Dolphins have
even
so much money.
with guys, you pay all these guys huge money without an injury history, and as soon as you give them money, they get hurt. I mean, it sucks to be a running back, but man, I can't see anybody investing a lot of money unless they just got money to throw away. Rashad Pitt. I mean, go for it.
That's why I said Miami. Like there's money sitting there, and unless they get fined a lot, but we're not gonna talk about that on this show. That's for another show.
That might be finding a new owner.
$100,000 per player we pick up. But the guy I have he's been a solid player for years. Never a guy that you were like, oh my goodness, I'm building my team around him. And he had a pretty good year this year as a committee leader. Just got injured a couple times, but that is James Conner of soon to be formerly of the Arizona Cardinals, probably coming back is sort of my feeling for the Cardinals, but he's always been, he's like Penny. It seems like the theme of our running backs is guys who get hurt. James Conner, you got to root for a dude that beat cancer and played in the NFL. You can't beat that. He was a touchdown scoring machine this year. The dude, what did he end up with? He ended up with 15 rushing and 3 receiving. Yeah, touchdowns. Like that last from basically week 9 on. He had a touchdown all but 2 weeks. So we can go back to week 7. He had a touchdown all but 2 weeks. Then he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double touchdown weeks. And he only rushed for 752 yards on 202 carries. And that makes it complicated. He's going to get drafted way too high next year, which is why I'm not going to have him, because people are going to chase the touchdowns. And in fantasy, if you pay attention to fantasy, you can't chase touchdowns generally. And, we do. But what you look for are the numbers. Like he was only averaging 3.7 per attempt. He had 202 carries. He's going to be in a committee. I heard a thing or heard on the radio something. He's open to him and Edmonds both coming back to Arizona and trying to run it back again with both of them healthy doing it, which would be a smart play. I mean, if I was a coach, I would say, sorry, fantasy guys, I'm running 2 running backs so that they can stay healthier and have fresher legs and create a system.
I don't think there's any reason to be sorry, because I think they can both succeed in that offense because they're 2 completely different running backs. You're not getting Connor to run for yards because he doesn't rush for a lot of yards. He's just your goal line back, and he can catch the ball. And you got what's the other guy's name?
Edmonds. Yeah.
And he's that scat back, big play guy and catch some passes. So, I mean, I think they both succeed. I mean, I'm not drafting James Conner because just touchdown. I mean, touchdowns are hard to live up to. That's a lot. But I mean, I think if they both come back, that offense is still good enough to where they're going to get touchdown opportunities. They score a lot of points. So, I mean, I think both are going to be solid RB3s going into next season. But I think, like I said, Connor will probably be overdrafted for some reason. People love touchdowns.
I'd get him 7, 6, maybe somewhere in there, 7th, maybe.
I mean, like I said, they score a lot of points, and if he's the goal line back, I mean,
he'll get 10 touchdowns from James Conner.
And 10 touchdowns, I'll take that as a good flex play every week, probably
650, 10. The next guy I have, I truly should have been on a different team this year, but he chose to come home. And I think next with Big Ben leaving, unless they sign someone ginormous, I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be gone. I've had people try to sell me Juju. He had the great 2018 with 14, 26, and 7 touchdowns. But other than that, it's been kind of poo. He in 20, he had 97 catches, but he still had only 830 yards. He's not been, but he had touchdowns. Last year he got hurt. And so I've never been on the Juju train, but I got him as a throw in one of my dynasty leagues. I got to root for him a little bit, but I think he's going to land in a decent spot. And at his age, he's 25. Dude is 25. He'll be 25 when the season starts. He's young.
I feel like he's already been in the league for 5 years.
He has. Wait, let's see. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, 5 years. He came in at 21. So his birthday is November. So he came in at 20, I guess. But yeah, he still has so much career left that I still have to look at him, and I think he could be one of the steals of the draft next year, because you'll probably be able to get him in what, 8 or maybe 9, maybe 10.
I don't think people are very confident in Juju. I've never been very confident in Juju. He just had that one great season playing opposite Antonio Brown. It's not hard. I'm not gonna say it's not hard to do. It's kind of like playing opposite Julio, right? I mean, when the whole team is focused on you, I mean, that other guy is probably going to be wide open. But Juju's okay. Honestly, I think he comes back. I think he stays with the Steelers and to bring in another quarterback. But like I said, if he does come back, I mean, that's a lot of targets in that offense. You had Johnson, Claypool, Juju, Freiermuth, the running and Najee Harris. So even if he does come back, I don't know if they're going to throw that much to make all those guys pass catching relevance. So if he does go somewhere else, I mean, I think Juju has the potential to be a mid-range wide receiver 2 on a regular basis. I mean, he's a good receiver. I mean, he's obviously proved it. I mean, he can have a big season. Like I said, I don't think he's a number 1 guy. You need to bring him in paired up with a more dominant wide receiver that he can play off of, and I think Juju be fun.
Yeah, once again, I'm looking at Penny. Juju could be a Dolphin.
Be a lot. Everybody gonna be a Dolphin evidently, right?
Oh, dude, you should see the amount of it's ridiculous. Like, I hope they don't spend money on Juju and Penny, but it's something stupid they would do.
Yeah, spend money on somebody.
They need to spend money on line. Really, honestly, that's if they build up the line and build out, and unless they can get them on the cheap, but they're going to do something stupid with just the ownership. I mean, I could see them getting Juju and paying too much for running back this year.
But I think when
Juju wants to go to Kansas City.
I think when you're building your line, I don't think you build your line through free agency really, because it's very rarely does those major linemen come off of free agency, because people don't want to get rid of them. We failed in the
draft though.
People don't want to get rid of those guys. I feel like you got to draft these linemen and pay them and not get rid of them. I mean, they had Larry Tunsil and they got rid of him. So I mean, you just can't be getting rid of linemen, man. You got to keep linemen. They're very, very, very important to what you're trying to do here. So you draft really good linemen because they're hard to come by in free agent market. They're just not any great top left tackles just be floating out there, to fix your line. But yeah, but my receiver, I'm not really sure about my receiver. I've never really had any feelings towards him that I finally jumped on. And he kind of let me down, but the team is really bad. Actually, this might be the first time we get to bring up the
say it.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders.
Go Commanders.
Right. Yeah, there's been a lot of people don't like it. I mean, it's like always new. It's going to take a while to get used to. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have just kept the same uniform that they had last year, not changed anything about it. I really like
money.
Yeah,
money.
Who knows? But like I said, it'll grow on people. But my guy's Terry McLaurin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So coming into the season, I mean, we were both really high on it. Thought it was gonna be really good, but honestly, I thought that was gonna be with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't want to say Ryan Fitzpatrick is the whole reason, but thought the offense was going to be a little more high powered. Didn't turn out that way. What was his total stats here? So he had 77 catches for 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. This is not terrible, but it's not the top 12 receiver that I thought. And then unless they get a quarterback that can push the ball down the field, I mean, this might be what we see for McLaurin his whole career. I mean, he's already 26. He'll be 27. He's older coming into the league. Like I said, we know he's good. is he going to have that offensive firepower to help him out?
It was a letdown year. Looking at his stats, if you look at his rookie year, he played 14 games and he had 919 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he was in less games, he had a better season. Like it was a rough. I had him on a couple places and he was just kicking me in the butt as I was trying to cheer for him because I love me some Scary Terry. And yeah, is Heineke, are they gonna run with Heineke for another year, give him a chance? I think they might, because I don't know if I mean, quarterback that draft, they have quarterback all over the place on the draft board, but even if it's a rookie, that's another lost year for Terry McLaurin. So unless they bring in a veteran gunslinger,
how many veteran gunslingers are going to come to Washington?
They had him. We were like, I 100% expected his year to be stellar because of Fitzpatrick, and that injury just sent him down the tube. So, I mean, he's probably, would he be a low end too?
At this point, yeah, because you just don't know. You can't trust him. That offense isn't good. Quarterback's not good. Coach, I don't know. Like I really wanted to cheer for it, but I can't. So I mean, like I said, I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'll be drafting him next year like I was hoping I would be able to.
So yeah, we'll wrap it up here with a tight end. I know your love of tight ends. Everybody knows my love of tight ends. I love them. So I like to quote myself the tight end whisperer. Usually I'm a little too early on them, but this is a tight end I shouldn't like at all. He comes from Notre Dame school. I don't like at all. He's in the Bears. I don't pay attention to the Bears that much. But Cole Kmet, I thought this year might have been his year. And as with most time I am with tight ends, I whisper a little earlier. I need to hold on to him for one more year.
I just got a breaking news that Miami is working on a deal with 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel for the head coach. So.
Yeah, it'd been trickling on my Dolphins feeds recently. They're like, because the 49ers apparently had signed someone to work on their offense, and Robert Sala of the Jets is like, oh man, I love that dude. Please don't let him sign in the East. I'm like, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so, I mean, that seems to be the way people are going to the Kyle Shanahan. I mean, look at the coaches that's fallen under the Shanahan tree so far. I mean, it seems where everybody's going, the Rams, the Packers, now the Dolphins. So I mean, that offense works, and we'll just see where it goes.
Hope so.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, that's yeah. We'll talk about Mike Gesicki. No, I'm sure I'll talk about him enough in the offseason. I mean, him and Gesicki and Kmet are very similar, actually. Talented blockers. But Cole Kmet, I thought would have. I mean, he still had a decent impact this year. He had 93 targets and 60 receptions, 612, but he didn't have a touchdown. And if you're a tight end and you want to make your hay, you've got to either block or catch touchdowns. And he blocked decent enough to stay in. I'm not a big blocking expert, but I
watched George Kittle play.
I love George Kittle's. I'd love to watch him block all day. But he takes someone out and he celebrates like with his wrestling moves. But Cole Kmet, I totally thought this year would step up to it. I was figuring I was 5-6 touchdowns with a rookie quarterback, but maybe next year after he has an off season with Fields, he'll be jumping up in there. That if you decide, hey, I'm not going to go for the big 3-4 tight ends, he would be like a good late round tight end to snag, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big dude. I mean, he was one of those tight ends coming out of college that everybody was trying to get. Like tight ends take a while to develop. You don't see a lot of tight ends jumping right in, and being productive. I know it's kind of changing a little bit, but I don't know why it takes so long for that position to translate to fantasy. Maybe because they don't get used a lot in college, so they're used
two jobs too. It's a double job.
They're used more for blocking in college than they are for as the receiver. So it might take them a while to get used to how the NFL how it's ran and receiving. But yeah, I think he could be solid. I mean, I got a lot of faith in Justin Fields, so I guess a lot of faith in Justin Fields. They're going to need pass catchers to be good, and Mooney and Kmet pretty much all they got at the moment. So
is it too early for us to say Mooney season 2022?
hey, Mooney season, man, go for it.
Mooney
Hey,
season.
hey,
I think I only have one Mooney left, but
I don't
trading
think
some
I have. I
away.
don't think I have him anywhere. So I
Yeah,
might have to
trading
try to
away.
trade for him somewhere.
That makes me sad. But as we wrap up here, I'm gonna stand. You said the Super Bowl is going to be a just watch it, make a prediction. Who's gonna win?
I think the Rams are going to win. I'm not gonna like I said. I like the Rams. I don't like the. I'm not gonna say I don't like the Bengals, but I don't have any really rooting interest. I can remember. I can't remember the last time the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. That was kind of like when I
We were
started.
little.
Like one of
Yeah.
my first memories of football is when Joe Montana's
Oh no.
driving down the field in the last 30 seconds or last 2 minutes and through the touchdown. Was it Taylor that caught the
Yes, it was.
Taylor that caught it? That's like literally my first memory of football. And who would have thought that'd be the last time the Bengals were in a Super Bowl until now? But yeah, like I said, Bengals win. I'm not going to be upset, but I'd like to see Sean McVay win. I like Sean McVay, so let's go Rams.
As
And
a
my
little
daughter
kid, I
wants the
was
Rams to win too, so we'll root for them together.
yeah, you know, I'm the Rams. There's a little side story, then we'll close out here. As a little kid, I jumped through teams and I was rooting for the Bengals because I like Tigers and I love Dickie Woods.
Oh yeah.
And after that touchdown, I remember being a little kid. My brother's a 49ers fan, and I was ticked. I run back to my bedroom, take all of my 49ers cards, and throw them in the trash can. I was so mad. It was just devastating. I was like, of course, my brother's team wins again. My team doesn't. So
yeah, I think I was a Bears fan when I first started watching football. I think
Singletary.
I was like
The
Bears
Super Bowl
were like my.
shuffle.
I was like, ooh, I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan. I mean, it didn't last very long. It turned into a Cowboys fan. But yeah, I can remember trying to root for the Bears. But yeah, let's go Rams. So hopefully it's just a good Super Bowl. I want a lot of points for it. I just want like if they could just get rid of that 45-minute halftime show, it'd be awesome. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, we'll get back to the rookie stuff here shortly after the Super Bowl. Start jumping into the 2022 season. And as always, trust yourself and trust the process.